Well, hello everyone. This is Tina Kadish from Job to Joy, our Employee to Entrepreneur podcast. I am here back with a wonderful guest. As always, we bring great guests. And let me tell you a little bit about the podcast, Employee to Entrepreneur. I brought this on over a year ago because as a business coach, as a clarity strategist, I empower women 40 and plus who are stuck in an unhappy, unfulfilling career. They might be retiring or close to retiring, and they're looking for that next chapter. They want to reinvent themselves and they just don't know how to get there. So I created this podcast for women to come in and share their stories. How do they make this transition? How do they go from an employee and today they're a successful entrepreneur? And so I'm honored to have Latasha Jimerson today. Happy August 1st.
Yes.
Latasha, it's so great to have you here. I know that a lot of people that are going to be listening in today know you, and you're an author coach, and I'm going to read a little bit about you because some people may not know who you are, but you are an author coach, a teacher, a keynote speaker, and a writing consultant. She is the CEO of LT's Coaching and Educational Services and the founder to New Author University. Her university helps authors overcome writer's block, procrastination, and imposter syndrome using the curriculum inside her book, Your First Book Workbook. This book is a guide on how to write and publish your first book. Over the past 8 years, Latasha has built a thriving community of over 800 authors, wow, who consistently sign up for her virtual events, her 5-day challenges, which I've heard are amazing. New authors are encouraged to start their research by watching free trainings on Latasha's YouTube channel called Your First Book 101. Authors are also encouraged to her community and of successful authors on Facebook by searching for Your First Book Club and Your Next Book Club. If you're ready to become a successful author, text the phrase book to 725-249-9150 for the link to apply to Latasha's New Author University. Enrollment opens, well, it opened in July. Classes will begin the fall of 2025. So today, for the next 15, 20 minutes, we're going to have this great conversation about getting, to know you more. I'd like to get to know you more. And I know a little bit about you. I've heard you speak. You're an amazing speaker. And I will have, all the links of how people can connect with you. But I really am honored to have you, Latasha, on my podcast. So Latasha, tell me, you didn't just wake up one day and say, I want to be an author coach. I want to help authors write their books because as an author myself of 2 books, solo books, one behind me that is a anthology, it is not easy to write a book.
Oh.
It really isn't. I never thought I'd be an author, but because I want to be a professional speaker, writing a book, sharing our story is so powerful. But tell us, how did you begin your journey to get you where you are today?
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. And I love the name of this. Can you just say the name of your podcast again one more time?
Employee to Entrepreneur.
I love that because that's exactly the way I spent my life for 20 years as an employee. I was a middle school teacher first, and then a high school history teacher / English teacher. And then I started writing books for fun, just for myself during the summer, right? I love to read. And so I was like, let me just see, could I write a book? And I started researching it, went on Google, joined YouTube University, right? And I went ahead and wrote the book, came out, and people started asking me questions. And I was like, I did that.
Wow.
I did that. That was 2017. And I'm going to turn my alarm off because my alarm's going off reminding me to be on this podcast.
Oh, okay.
I have to
Okay,
set
well,
these
great.
alarms.
I love alarms too.
Yeah. So I really wrote that book just to see if I could.
Mm-hmm.
And then teachers in my district started buying it and reading it and calling me and asking me if they could talk to me. And I'm like, are you serious? You really read the book? And what did you think? And they're like, it was really good. And the question that they asked me over and over and over again was, well, how did you do that?
That's a great question. So why did you?
And, well, they were saying, how did you do it?
And how did you?
And
Yes.
I said, oh, well, I just went on YouTube. I read some blogs and put it all together. And multiple people were like, well, can you show me how to do that? And at first I said yes. And I said, well, first I said no. And then I said, let's meet at the coffee shop, buy me a cup of coffee, and I'll tell you everything I know.
Okay.
And I did that like 3 or 4 times. And each one of those people came back and said, here's a book. I want you to have a signed copy of it. I want you to have this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This was months later. I was in my classroom teaching, minding my own business. Right. And then my kids were little and they were busy and I forgot what I had taught. And each person was like, you taught me how to do this when we were sitting having coffee. And I was like, oh,
Wow. So it organically happened without you.
yeah.
You really didn't. Let me ask you, because you've been in the education system for years.
Yeah.
What led you to get out of the teaching? I mean, you just started writing books and then you,
It
what was that turning point?
I love that question because it wasn't on purpose.
Mm.
Not at all. I wrote the first book in 2017.
Yep.
People started reading it in about 2018, 2019. Everybody in my community knew that I was an author. Not many teachers were authors at that time.
Right.
So the students were asking me, hey, you wrote a book? Where's your book? We want to buy it. We want to see it. And they were telling their parents that I'd written a book. And I was kind of shy about it. I was like, but then I became proud of it. And people just kept asking me to help them. And so I was like, okay, what is this? Because I'm busy and I don't know how I'm going to teach people how to write a book and then teach, work, hang out with my kids and do all this. I don't know what this is about. So then I started researching and finding out, oh, this is called coaching. Oh, there's a coaching and consulting space. And so I started researching, what is a coach? What is a consultant? And then I said, oh, I have knowledge. I can package it and sell it and teach other people how to do what I do. Oh. So now here's 2019, 2020. My sister passed away.
Yes,
in March of 2020. And that was the catalyst.
Okay.
For whatever I like. Oh my gosh, she was 39. She had no kids, no house, no spouse. Wow. And I thought, whoa, wait a minute. Life is way too short. I started thinking, am I really happy doing what I'm doing right now? Like it's working. I'm good at it. I'm a really good teacher. I actually do like working with the students, but I didn't like being a part of a system, right? Yes, okay. It was a box. And so I said, okay, this is how much I'm making in teaching. If I can make this as a coach, I'm quitting.
That's right. That's right. So let me ask you, because, your sister passed away in March of 2020. My daughter passed away in July of 2020. Oh. And so at 37. So we have that, we lost someone that we love. And it's interesting that you said that you were making money and then you got this desire from a, like you said, that was your catalyst to realize that life is too short. I want to do something else. And if I can make that money as a coach that I'm making as a teacher, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I love that you said that this happened by accident. And that's like with me, when I got laid off is when I started to do some research on figuring out like, what do I want to do? Yeah. And I said, I don't want to be told anymore by a company that you're no longer an employee.
Yeah.
And that's really like, I think today, too many of us, let me ask you this question.
Mhm.
What do you think? Why do people stay in jobs,
Yeah.
that they're not making money? They're making good money, because I'll share mine
Mhm.
why. And then they have this desire for something more, but they don't take the next step. What do you think
Yeah.
is keep it holding them back?
Well, I want to say condolences to you.
Well, condolences to you.
Hmm. We have to acknowledge that because my sister was such a big spirit.
My daughter too.
Yeah, it's just lit up the room.
Mm,
And so we have to remember them and honor
yes,
them in everything that we do because
yes, it's true.
it reminded me of how important life is and how precious life is,
Exactly,
right? And
exactly.
so
Yeah.
it took me through. Okay, because I got summers off. I never worked during the summer. So I was hanging out with my kids.
Right.
So what I would do is I would journal and I would really think about, do I really want to go back to work?
Mm.
Because the summer was so nice.
I'm sure.
You
Yes. Being
know,
a teacher, having those days off and
so nice.
vacations. Yes, I'm sure.
And every year, like the 5 years before I actually quit, I remember thinking, wow, if I could do something else, I wouldn't go back in the
Mm,
fall,
mm.
especially in July.
Yeah,
Because it's back to school already. Today's August 1st. It's already back to school.
I know.
Love you, teachers that are getting ready to go back. The thought was always, do I have to go back? Right. And so 2020, I went ahead and I went back
Okay.
and I did Zoom school for a few months.
Yeah,
And then I went out on stress leave and I said, I can't do this.
yeah,
I
yeah.
went out on bereavement and then I was stressed out and I said, I'm going to take some time off. Took a couple months off.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go for the coaching. I'm going to do this. So I
Mm.
signed up for several coaching programs to learn, right?
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, I set a date, 2021, March 1st.
Okay.
I said, okay, if I'm making enough, I'm going to leave.
Okay.
And it wasn't all the way enough, but it was close enough.
Okay.
And
Good.
I said, okay, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I had some savings. And I said, it's now or never. I resigned March 1st, 2021.
Good for you.
And I have been full-time entrepreneur for 4 years now.
I love that. I love hearing the story. One thing that caught my attention, what you said was you created a time frame. It's, that SMART goals, set your SMART goals. Okay. You decided March 1st, 2021. Okay. And you created a plan,
Yeah.
a savings. I always tell people,
Yeah.
don't just quit your job unless it's for mental health, like real serious situation. Like I know someone that just
Yeah.
quit her job, very toxic, but
Yeah.
she had already started her business. See, I firmly
Mhm.
believe we need to have a plan B
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not put all our eggs in a basket called a job.
Yes.
And we tend to
Yes.
put all our identity in that job and give it our all. And in a heartbeat, like
Yes.
you resigned, I got laid off
Yeah.
from a training and development position that I loved. I loved the job, but I was tired of going. I was on a train 3 hours a day, commuting to New York City from
Wow.
Connecticut. I did that for 4 years. It was a burnout. I got burnt out. So it actually, they did me a favor, but I had just been promoted to an area trainer
Oh.
and then got eliminated. The job was eliminated. So I said, wow, what do I do? And I was a single mom with 2 kids at the time.
Yeah.
So when people today say, well, I can't quit my job because I don't know what I'm going to do. But guess what? They let you go. You got to figure it out, don't you?
Yes. Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh,
So
yes.
yeah. So any tips you want to share for the people that are right now, they're like on the fence. There's a lot of people out
Yeah.
there now that are saying, I got to get a new job because my job sucks. I hate my manager. They know they want something more, but what would you recommend that they do?
Yeah. So there's three things.
Yes.
And these are three reasons why people don't quit their job. Number one, it's very stable and secure sometimes. There's a false sense of security, especially with a job like teaching.
Yes.
It's so broad and so wide, you can teach anywhere at any time. So there's a sense of security and stability. That's one. Number two is that they don't know what else they could possibly do. Because I thought that I'm a teacher. What else could I possibly do other than teaching? And then number three, even if they overcome those first two objections, they don't know how
That's right.
to go across the bridge from being a teacher to a coach.
Right. Right. That's a
So,
big transition.
yeah, it's huge. So I recommend that before you ever think about leaving your job, you go ahead and take a part of that income and invest in a program and start learning a little bit at a time. Because I'll be honest, I quit my job in 2021, but I was an entrepreneur my whole life, and I was a part of different businesses from 2015 to 2021. So that was 6 years of me falling forward, failing forward, trying different things, it not working out, right? I kept my job.
Okay.
But I sold makeup. I sold nutritional products.
Me too.
I ended up selling a house somehow. I sold one house. I almost sold a car.
Wow.
I love sales, but I didn't know that that's what I was doing.
Okay.
Because I was just sharing and telling people about things that I was excited about. I sold life insurance.
Me too. I did too. Oh my God.
I sold so many different things. I sold travel packages. I just was selling things because I was buying things and I was telling people, this is what I bought. This is amazing. This is that. And, 2015 to 2021, guys, please, while you're working, take a portion of that income.
Yes.
And put it towards a coaching program. I put my money towards a course on how to build a course.
Yeah.
And I built like 25 courses in one summer.
Wow.
Because I just love to learn. And so I took a portion of my teaching money and I spent it on coaching programs. I took a marketing class. I took a sales class. I hired a branding coach.
Yes.
I was a part of speaker communities. So I was already taking a little bit of my teacher money and I was putting it into investing in skills because I had a feeling that I wouldn't be teaching until I was 75 like my friends were.
Right.
I had a couple friends that retired at 78 and I was just like, that's not going to be me.
Latasha.
That's not going to be me. Like,
No,
especially because I love the classroom and I was a field trip teacher. I would take kids from California to DC and New York. And I would fundraise and sell candies and cookies. And I'm still very theatrical. Okay. And I'm the entertainment teacher. So we had so much fun. And so I thought I would go into entertainment one day or be a talk show host one day. I had different aspirations for what I could be, right? But I was afraid of those things because I really didn't know anybody who could mentor me on that.
Right.
So I would say if you are thinking about could I, what's going to happen? Start taking a little bit of your job money and buy courses, hire coaches. You can hire Tina, you can hire me. Just put your toe in there. Yeah. Before you put your foot in there, put your toe in there and see, is this something that you like? Because if it's not, if you don't, like for me, I couldn't sell life insurance. I just couldn't do it.
I did it 1 year and I just couldn't do it. It was just not aligned with me.
Yeah. So you have to give yourself some space to fail.
Yes.
Okay. Don't just jump into full-time entrepreneurship. And especially when you're raising kids, I would have never done this.
That's right. Me
while
too.
I was raising kids. because I needed a steady paycheck. I needed the summers off. I needed those benefits, health insurance, life insurance, all that 403B. I needed
Me
all of that
too. Me too.
to sustain my household and take care of my children because they were in sports and they did different things. It would not have been fair for me to be a full-time entrepreneur and endure the ups and downs and
Right.
the ebbs and the flows when my kids eat 3 full meals a day. These are big girls. I got big girls and they eat. They eat like boys.
I love what you're saying about, saving, using some of your money towards your business. Cause I love that. Cause
Yeah.
that's what I did. Like when I got laid off, I started my business part-time, but it
Yeah.
wasn't sustainable. And cause I started helping women find their passion.
Yeah.
Okay. And I helped them, and then I said, I can't do this full time. I'm not making enough money. Cause remember, I was a single mom,
Mm-hmm.
2 kids. I said, I need to go get a job while
Yes.
building my business, which is a
Yes.
very common thing that people do. There is nothing wrong with building a business while working full time.
Absolutely.
Not at all. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yep.
You're building, it's your funding source,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so I went to a job as a recruiter and I built my business 6 years while working as a recruiter for 11 years, 11
Wow.
years too long,
Yeah.
until 2018. I escaped it finally. And fear is what held me back. My limiting beliefs
Yes.
is what held me back from quitting because it was never the right time
Yes.
to leave
Yes.
that job.
Yes.
But I finally did it. And had I not done it, I wouldn't have been an author. I wouldn't have connected with amazing people, joined different communities. I wouldn't have had the time. The year I quit my job in 2018, the year after my daughter was diagnosed with cancer, I wouldn't have been able to spend the time with my daughter had I not been an entrepreneur. And I'm
Yes.
so grateful for that time I had. And that's the thing that I want everyone to think about here. You're putting all your time in
Yeah.
a job. Yes, it's comfortable. You need the money. We're not saying not that you don't need it. But what are you doing to plan your exit? What is your exit strategy? You need to create an exit strategy, which I do have a 5-step exit strategy. If anybody wants it, I can send it to them to help you prepare. Like you just said, one piece is the saving of the money. I got rid of some debt. I cut down expenses. I aligned my money. And then I worked with coaches as well. I had to learn some skills. There's a lot of skills to learn as an entrepreneur. But you have a lot of skills already in your jobs. And those are transferable skills.
Yeah.
And you can take them in entrepreneurship. So we tend to, and tell me what you think, we tend to hide our gifts, skills from the world.
Yes.
When we have so many gifts and talents to share to the world.
Yes.
And
Yes. You just reminded me of a scripture that I wrote down. Do I have it? Okay. I'm going to paraphrase it because I'm not a Bible scholar, so it's not going to be perfect. But it basically says, your gifts will make room for you. It typically traditionally, because it's all about men, right? In the Bible, it says a man's gift, but we can switch it to a woman's gift. It says a man's gift will make room for him and it will put him among great men.
That's right.
So you have to be seen and allow people to see your gift. And one of the things that I did before I quit, I went to my master teacher who knew me when I was a baby teacher.
Oh, wow.
Right. So 18 years after I started teaching with her, I went back to her and I said, hey, she was already retired. She was already hanging out on the beach. And I said, hey, could you please tell me what were my gifts? Like, what did I do that was great? And she goes, oh, Latasha, you are a natural teacher. She goes, I didn't teach you how to teach. I just showed you how to exist within a structure.
That's right.
And I said, oh, okay. She told me how to document everything. She says, people are going to lie on you. People are going to do things. You need to document everything. And I said, okay. And then I went to another one of my bosses. She was my principal later in my career. And she ended up being HR manager of the whole district. And I went to her and I said, hey, I kind of want to do something else, but I don't know what to do. And she knew me when I taught for her at her
Mhm.
school for
Okay.
5 years. And she said, "Oh, you're a natural teacher." She said, "I would recommend that you go figure out how to be a consultant, and you could be an educational consultant and you could work for these school districts." And then I told her I wrote a few books, and she said, "Oh, well, then you need to be a keynote speaker, and
Mm.
the districts will buy your books in bulk." And I was like, ah, and I'm like, I didn't know this. I didn't know this.
I love that. So you also remind me and the listeners here, ask people that know you, how would they describe you?
Yes.
What are some of their your strengths that they see in you? Because I firmly believe knowing our strengths, knowing our values, what is it that excites us? What will we do if we, like that we love so much that we wouldn't get paid for?
Yes.
What would you love
Yes.
to do? And what would
Yes.
get you excited to wake up every morning?
Yes.
And what if you could turn that into a career
Oh, yeah.
and make money doing what you love to do? That's what I always ask
Yeah.
my clients, is like, what would you love to do? If you weren't
Yeah.
getting paid, what
And,
would you
and and what were you doing at the job that people were asking you to do that you were doing on the side, right?
exactly?
You weren't getting paid. Like I wasn't getting paid to take kids from California to DC. Like my trip was paid for, but I didn't get paid for that. That was during my spring break and summer. And that was just the joy, right? From job to joy.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
was the joy. The whole school year, I
Mhm.
just was excited for the field trip, and my kids were excited. And I would ask them, what do you like about my class? And they're like, "Oh, you make it interactive, you make it fun." And then I would ask the parents, "What do you like about my class?" And they'd say, "You know what? You're a lot of fun, but you are still strict." And I
Okay.
said, "Okay," because I would do things like I had a young lady turn in an assignment late and it was really sloppy. And I was off on maternity leave. And so I didn't get a chance to see when she turned it in. She gave it to the sub and then she ran out the door, right? And the sub told me. And I looked at it and I said, "This is not the quality of work that I'm used to her turning in." I went to her house
Good for
and
you.
her parents were like, "Whoa." And I said, "This is not the quality of work that I'm used to her turning in. I demand something better and I'll give her 3 days."
Mm,
And they said, "Whoa, whoa, she's not playing," because education is so powerful for your life.
it
And
is.
so I was fun. I'm still fun, but I'm strict about the things that are important, and I will hold you accountable for the things that are going to change your life.
Right. Okay. So I love that. So as an author, as you know, we're coming to a close soon,
Mhm.
as an author coach. So who is your audience that you help? Is it men and
Yeah,
women?
it's
What
it started.
kind of book? What kind of books? Or is it
it
vary?
yeah.
Tell
So
us.
my first book was a memoir.
Okay.
And so the teachers were coming to me wanting to write a memoir. So
Okay.
it was teachers, and then it was retired people, and then it was church people.
Wow.
I don't know where these people came from. They saw me on Facebook and they reached out, or LinkedIn, and they reached out. I said,
Okay.
"Okay, okay." Then it was course creators,
Mm.
and then it was coaches and consultants, and now it's authors, because I have 800 authors in my community and they come to me for trainings because I've been building this for 8 years.
That's right.
So
I
this
love
is this is grassroots, right? One client at a time,
that. Mm. Okay.
sitting at coffee, having coffee with one person. And then they go tell 3 people, and then I have more clients. And here's another thing for people that are just starting their business and they're like, "I don't have any clients, I don't have an audience, I don't have an email list, I don't know what I'm doing." Uh, Go call someone that you used to work with and tell them that you need clients,
Yeah.
and say, "I'm using my gift to help people write books," or whatever you're doing. And people will send you people.
That's right. I love that. If you don't ask, you will not receive.
Yes.
And I love that you did that. And I love what you're doing. So now you're working with authors. So me as an author,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
know, of two books, I know there'll be a third at some point.
Mhm.
Is so how do you help someone like me who's an existing
Yes.
author?
Yes. So you see how you just said that? I have two books and there will be a third,
Yes.
right? I think I've written 10,
Okay.
but I don't really remember.
Okay.
So there are a few on Amazon, but not too many because there's a whole thing that I have about that, but that's for another day. So what I do with authors that are already authors is I help them write the next book.
Okay.
I have a whole group that's called Your Next Book Club.
I love that.
And
Yes, I saw that.
I teach them how to squeeze the juice out of the first one
Okay.
because a lot of authors write it and then they drop it.
That is true. I think what is missing, being an author, you know, I worked with a publisher. I didn't self-publish. What was missing at the time with my two books is having someone to help me market my books. Because you could write a book, oh, it's out there, but are you marketing it? You got to
Yes.
get it out there. Are you aligning your brand with your books? You know, what are you doing with your books? Like I created a course from my first book,
Yes.
but am I really out there promoting it? I'll be honest, I haven't been.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My second book is about my daughter, our story together. And I think I have a mental block promoting the tragedy of losing my daughter
Yes.
there. So I'm kind of like, I'm only like promoting it to people that I come
Yes.
across. So I haven't really been marketing my second book as much as I did with my first book.
Well, it's probably because your moneymaker hasn't come yet.
Okay.
Okay. So when I was learning about self-publishing, I studied all the gurus
Okay.
at the time, 2017.
Yeah.
And there was one guru that said, you're really not going to make any money until book number 5. So I hurried up and got to book number 5. And
Real.
he was right? Like that doesn't apply today, but he was right for me because when I got to book number 5, I started to understand what the market needed.
Okay.
I started to figure out, well, what are the trends? What are people buying? What do people need? What are the questions that people keep asking me? So I created a book for people and it's called Your First Book Workbook. It's the steps of how to get from writer to author fast.
Okay.
It takes you quickly. The learning curve is shortened. So people buy that because they want that learning curve to be shortened.
Okay.
And also, that book is the lead magnet for me to get clients. So if you aren't getting clients, there's a problem because your books should support the work that you do with your clients.
Right. It does. It does.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that's going to take them deeper. So when my clients come to me and they work with me, I have a high ticket offer. They get the book for free.
Me too. I have the same thing. I have a high
Just
ticket and they get
take the book.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they need the book as a resource, but they need me even more.
That's right. They do. They do. So, Latasha, you know, wrapping up here, this was a great conversation.
Yeah.
What would you say is a one tip that you want to share, one wisdom for someone today who's on the fence or they're there? Because I love your story. Besides that, people need to share their story and write a book, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
That goes without saying. But being an entrepreneur, you know, what is that one thing you recommend?
Yeah. So even deeper than having a book, when you, and this is specifically for women over 40, I help people over 40, right?
Yeah.
Men and women.
Yeah.
It's mostly women. If you've already worked a career and you have a skill set that you could transition and you have a little bit of money that you can invest in coaching, I don't want you to stay on a job forever.
Right.
Because you have a gift that could be monetized. You just don't know me yet, or you don't know Tina yet. You just don't have the support system to help you monetize. You just don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So continue to research. And I always say this at the end of all of my YouTube videos and my live streams. Regardless of whether you write a book or not, you have things in your heart. You have things in your belly. I was pregnant with my book for 12 years.
Yes.
Okay. You have things that need to come out of you. So always keep writing. Doesn't matter if it goes in the book, in the journal, in the blog, keep writing. Those are my 2 words. That's it.
I love that. Well, thank you, Latasha. We're going to have all of your how to connect with you. I know you're on Facebook, you're on LinkedIn.
Yes.
You have your 5-day challenge that you run. You have your 2 Facebook groups. So
Yes.
connecting with Latasha. Thank you so much, Latasha, for being here today. This is Tina Kadish, Employee to Entrepreneur, your podcast host. I want all of you to go out there and dream. Don't settle. Life is too short to stay stuck and unhappy in a career that doesn't serve you. So go out there and make it happen. Thank you, Latasha.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.